Hi guys and welcome back to my channel Popcorn Reviews. I'm Farhad. If you're new to this channel, then please smash that subscribe button now. And we are still about 500 odd subscribers away from the 2k mark, the new goal of our channel. So if you're new, please smash that subscribe button and like the video. And today the film that I'm going to be talking about is the new Hindi film, the much talked about Hindi film, the Kerala Story, that was out theatrically this week. Now, this film has been in its share of controversies that were there right from its trailer launch. That was there. There was a controversy around the number that was being, presented by the filmmakers, number of families impacted, and I think that is something that was contagious because it was changed later on after being questioned by some of the viewers. So the number was changed. That was the controversy that the film was around. But here I am talking only about the merits of the film. I do not wish to get into any controversy. Please bear with me with an open mind. The thing is that my job as a reviewer is not to make any political statements, not to get into any controversy. It is only talking about the merits of the film, and strictly the merits of the film is what I will be discussing. So, is the Kerala Story worth your time? Let's find out. So, coming to the story and screenplay, the Kerala Story follows the story of three girls who are, brainwashed and later recruited into the ISIS. It is a true story, unfortunately, and that is why the story is powerful and it needed to be told. However, it is the screenplay which lacks the bite, and when I say lacks the bite, it needed sharper writing, and the writing was just not up to the mark, absolutely not up to the mark, I would say. And I have my reasons. It's one thing to grab eyeballs, but it's one thing to execute your story and show a very personalized journey of the protagonist, wherein your sympathies as a viewer do also lie with the protagonist. That should have been the motto of the film. Sadly, it is not. It is just about grabbing eyeballs, unfortunately. And I say that, you know, whether I agree or disagree is a separate question altogether, but this is what I felt about the film. Now, let me tell you, I had earlier also watched last year the Kashmir Files, and it had a similar sort of a impactful storytelling technique that was there, which was in your face. Now, whether I agree with the political views or not, that is another question. But that film had really liked for its impactful storytelling that was there, despite it being in the different opinions that were thrown in. It was still a technically well made film with very good writing that was there. The writing was very good. That aspect is lacking in the Kerala Story here. I feel that there are a couple of fundamental things that are absolutely wrong with the Kerala Story. I feel that you are immediately introduced to the protagonist who is being interrogated by the authorities that are there, and there are three parallel timelines that are running here. One is of a separate timeline wherein she is with the ISIS. One is the interrogation that is there, and one is when she started with college and how she was brainwashed into that. So there are three separate timelines. This itself is a fundamental flaw because the non-linear storytelling never allows you to sync yourself in with the character. The character was such that it needed time, it needed the sympathies of the audience to be on her side always, and that should have been developed with only two timelines at the most. You could have said only the interrogation timeline that was there and the one at the beginning of the film, when how she started her journey, and to which making her part to the ISIs. I think that should have been the trajectory of the story as opposed to three separate storylines. I don't know why were there three separate storylines in the first place. And there's a flaw towards the end that also gets linked to this, and I will get to that. That is related to the final act. But the proceedings here, I was decently invested in them. Decently invested, although I couldn't entirely connect with the drama because of these fluctuating timelines that were there. And the writing here, I still believe, should have been sharper. It should have been more in your face because the subject itself was gut wrenching. It was heart wrenching. It can happen with anybody, and that itself was should have been a shocking thing and should have been developed on. But that is, the personalized touch that is needed in such a story is not there here. It is only about grabbing the eyeballs, grabbing the headlines, which the filmmakers have done. I mean, it is working at the box office. So, I mean, if that was the motive, it has succeeded. But from a technical standpoint, from a writing standpoint, I feel that, yeah, it just did not do too well. Which brings me to the final act as well. The final act was so poorly executed. It was lazy writing. The entire escape scene that was there, the chain of events that were there, it happened so rushed. It was fast, which brought me back to that first point that I made, that why not have followed a normal trajectory of the story and restricted the storyline to only two timelines. Why would they need to have a third timeline? And I think that is something that the Kerala story lacked. Also, I would like to just a little touch upon some points, that there's a character that goes on a rant in the little before the final minutes of the film, and that is something that I feel uh, should have been documented with facts. Even if that was true, there was no real documentation, which something that had happened in the Kashmir files that was there. Here, there was no real documentation to prove that point, and I think the messaging by the filmmakers have been absolutely skewed in this film, because you do not want to restrict your argument to only one particular state. It can happen with anybody. It is a very valid story to be told, and it is an eye opener, I would say, absolutely. Having said that, it can happen with anyone across the globe. You need not restrict it only to one particular state in India, and that is something that I feel was a complete miss on the filmmaker's part, which is why I said it is only about grabbing eyeballs. That I think is absolutely not the right approach if you're trying to tell a true story, because you're trying to put in your own opinions in the story. It should have been a personalized story, but you're putting your own opinions, and that is something that I did not agree with. So the writing here is needed much more sharpness in it to actually have any sort of impact. Coming to the technical aspects, the dialogues, music, and the screenplay, the dialogues are fairly impactful. They make for a decent viewing that is there. I think some of the comparisons that were made, that was, I think, the highlight also. That was a good thing, interesting thing rather. Instead of saying a good thing, it's an interesting thing. The music, I think, and the BGM needed to be a little better. Honestly, needed to be a little better. The cinematography also could have been so much more haunting. Although there were moments of gore that were there, but I mean, it was just not as impactful as it should have been. If you remember the final scene of the Kashmir files that was there, the final scene that went on and on and on, and you were just like, when is it going to end? I think that is the kind of impact that it needed, which wasn't there, in all honesty. Director Sudipto Sen, I think, misses the mark here. I feel his direction did not really contribute much to the writing, did not elevate it in any way. It was lackluster. It was almost lazy filmmaking, to say it. It could have been so much more better considering the subject at hand, and also the messaging, as I said, was entirely skewed. It should not have been that. Also, the performances, I felt the performances are a bit of a mixed bag. Pranay Panchori, Sonia, I think they did a good job here. Even Yogita Bilani, she did a very good job here. Adah Sharma was a bit of a hit and a miss for me. Her Malayalam twang that was there was always sticking out like a sore thumb for me. I think that is not the way that any Malayalam speaking person would actually speak, and that was actually a hindrance. Although she did well with her expressive face, and the eyes that were there were quite expressive, but the Malayalam twang was somewhere, being a bit of a hindrance for me in completely being immersed in a character. The ending that was there, that the families that they did show, was a good initiative that was there, but I still feel that the writing should have definitely been sharper. The Kerala story is just average for me, and I would hate to say that, because This was a relevant tale to be told, but with a flawed messaging. It's absolutely flawed. It's the terrorism angle is wrong, and that is what needed to be addressed, not in a particular area. It can be anywhere else, and that was the messaging that needed to be out, which wasn't there in my humble opinion. So if you're liking this video, please smash that like button. Let me know your thoughts on the film, the Kerala story. I know it's a little controversial, so please be civil in the comment section. I'm trusting my Digi family that you will be civil with your thoughts and with your expressions. You need not, start a raging war in the comments. This channel is not for that. If I see any of that, I will have to, remove those comments first, or even, ultimately I'll see what to do if it gets out of hand. I do not want the channel to be extremely clean, and it can be a proper talking point that is there. Views, disagreements is all part of the system, and it should be there. That is the way it should be there. And so I feel that you need to be a little civil in the comments, please. This is one video that I am trusting my Digi family to do that. Also, if you'd like to read my full review of the Kerala story, the link of which is in the description box below, do visit that as well. Subscribe to my channel, press that bell icon, share this video with your friends and family. Also follow me on different social media platforms like Facebook, Instagram, Twitter and Letterboxd. Lots of activities there. I do not end up making a video on everything that I watch, but I do write a lot. You know the drill. All information present on my site, Popcorn Reviews, and on my social media handles. So leave a follow. It's okay. And again, please be civil. Please be courteous and understand the other expression in a very open mind. Please, no abuses. I will not tolerate anything of that. And I will see you again tomorrow with another video. Let's see of which film it is. But then, till then, thank you so much for your love and support. And if I have crossed the line, I'm very sorry. Okay, thank you.